the house that wouldn't let the smoke speak. The December sun was thin that morning, more a rumor than a light, when firefighters reached a modest home in Rupperswil, Canton Aargau. Smoke bloomed from the windows, the kind that should have meant chance and rescue. But inside the rooms, the air told a different story. The fire was the last act, not the first. 4 people lay dead, a mother, her 2 sons, and the older son's girlfriend. And investigators could already tell the blaze had been set to erase what came before. The hours unraveled into a meticulous horror. According to the charge sheet later read in court, the intruder had arrived with a script and a disguise. He posed as a school psychologist, a face of authority no family expects to fear, and gained entry. Once inside, he bound the teenagers and forced the mother to leave the house with him to withdraw money, an errand that left chilling proof on bank cameras but no hint of the coercion beyond the frame. When they returned, what happened next ended 4 lives and began a national nightmare. Prosecutors said the younger boy was sexually assaulted, all 4 victims were killed, and the house set alight. A cold attempt to blur motives, timelines, and mercy. In the days that followed, Aargau police posted a CHF 100,000 reward, combed phone records, and sifted digital traces that turned private days into breadcrumb trails. For 146 days, there was only grief, suspicion, and the tense quiet that settles on a town after the unthinkable. Then, in May 2016, officers moved on a 33-year-old local man at a cafe in nearby Aarau. He was a youth football coach, a neighbor who blended in. His DNA and fingerprints matched the scene, and once in custody, he confessed. In his rucksack, police found cable ties, tape, rope handcuffs, and a pistol. Objects that suggested to prosecutors this was not meant to be his last crime. He had no prior record, did not know the family, and crucially had chosen them, investigators said, because of the younger son. In March 2018, the district court in Lenzburg pronounced judgment. The man, identified publicly in Switzerland as Thomas N., was convicted of murder, extortion, kidnapping/hostage-taking, sexual offenses, arson, and pornography. The court imposed life imprisonment with an indeterminate detention measure, a Swiss legal instrument applied to extremely dangerous offenders. The phrase, life sentence, reignited a national debate about what life should mean, but the verdict left no doubt about the court's assessment. This was premeditated, elaborately planned, and monstrously cruel. Even after sentencing, Switzerland kept talking about risk, about release, about how to protect the public from the rare person who treats people as means and endings. When an appeal court later confirmed that, despite the indeterminate measure, the offender would technically remain eligible for release if experts ever deemed him safe, the discussion flared again. It was a legal nuance that sat painfully beside the blunt finality of the victim's absence. And Rupperswil? It learned the quiet rituals of remembrance. Flowers appeared where sirens once wailed. Youth football carried on with new vigilance and background checks that suddenly felt more than procedural. Neighbors still passed the house, eyes flicking to the windows that wore smoke like a mask on that winter morning. Every country has a handful of cases that change the way it breathes. For Switzerland, this was one of them. A stranger at the door who spoke softly, planned meticulously, and left a town forever measuring the distance between trust and danger. The fire tried to erase that. The country refused to let it.